Hi guys, it's Ariel with Seattle Coffee Gear, and today we're going to be doing a crew review on the Airscape Kilo canister. It can hold 2.2 pounds of coffee beans, and they are supposed to extend the life of your coffee by an extra 3 weeks after you've opened it. Normally, once you've opened your coffee, you've got about a week, week and a half, if it's whole bean, to use it before the oils will kind of start to break down and dry out, and you'll start to notice a stale flavor to your coffee. So what I actually did was I did a little experiment. So I took these guys home and I stored my coffee in some different ways. So I stored it whole bean with this guy. So this is a little kind of gasket that forces the air out. So you put your coffee in and you push it down, and you can actually hear the hissing sound as it forces the air out. So I did that with whole bean coffee, and I did it with ground coffee. And then just as a control, I actually stored it in here without the little plunger, whole bean, to see how it held up by comparison. I'm just going to show you. So I have a 2-pound bag of Lavazza. I'm just going to show you that it actually does fit, and then we'll get on to my little experiment. All right, so yeah, it does fit an entire 2-pound bag, and you actually still have some room in there. So what you would do once you get your coffee in there is you just take this guy and you want to push it down until it comes into contact with the coffee, and you just slap the lid on, and it will basically keep the coffee for an additional 3 weeks rather than the standard week to week and a half. That coffee is good after you open the bag. So here I made 3 different V60s. So the clear one is going to be the control. So that one was the one where I stored it in an Airscape, but I didn't use the plunger. This one in the pink glass is going to be the one with the whole bean that I stored with the plunger. And then the one in the smoke glass is going to be the pre-ground coffee that I stored in an Airscape with the plunger. So I'm just going to kind of taste it and see how each one held up. So we'll start with this one. So I stored this one. This is the control. So remember, I stored it in the Airscape, but I didn't use the plunger, and I stored it whole bean for 3 weeks. It is a little bit on the stale side. I can definitely kind of pick up that the flavors have dulled. It's not terrible, but it wouldn't be great for espresso. You could squeak by doing like a drip or a French press, but I wouldn't use it for espresso anymore just because it is kind of starting to get on the stale side. Okay, so the next in the pink glass, this is the one that I stored whole bean, and I used the plunger in there, and I kept it for 3 weeks as well. Okay. All right, so this does still taste pretty fresh. I also noticed that when I went in to do the bloom, it actually bubbled up quite a bit, so it maintained that freshness quite nicely. And the flavors they're bright, they're clear, they're very pinpointed and distinct. So I would say that did actually hold up pretty well, considering the fact that I had unbagged it and stored it for 3 weeks. All right, I'm kind of scared to try this last one because this was pre-ground coffee that I used. So I also stored it pre-ground in one of these bad boys for 3 weeks as well with the plunger. Airscape also says that they're not going to hold up that well in here pre-ground, so this is really more for whole bean, but I'm gonna take one for the team. This is for you guys, just to see how it turned out. No, it's really stale. Not, I don't like it. So basically the Airscapes work really well for whole bean. They do preserve them for, I would say, yeah, about 3 weeks. So this is actually a really nice thing to have around, especially if you prefer buying your coffee in bulk and you're a bit slow to get through all of it. This will give you an additional 3 weeks to preserve that life. So it's a good thing, so you're not wasting coffee. So this is a really nice kind of economical option if you prefer buying in bulk and storing it long term. You don't really need something like this if you go through your coffee quickly, though. So this is really more for people who prefer to buy in bulk. But yeah, definitely great for whole bean. Doesn't really do a whole heck of a lot to extend the life of pre-ground coffee. So if you're going to use it, use whole bean coffee, and that's how you're going to get the best effect out of these Airscaped containers. Well, anyway, thank you for joining me. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, leave a comment below, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.